Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast. We have got ourselves what should be a good one here today on the map Grezvin, the AI edition. It's going to be a Zerg bot taking on a Terran bot in a ZVT, TVZ, whatever way you want to look at it. But it is a bot versus bot match, so the rules are kind of different because it's not necessarily about how you play, it's about how you program. And there's a lot of different ways to get things done when it comes to programming. And that's what these bot matches are about. We give bots that are quick and dirty, and we have bots that have quite a bit of love put into them that are pretty good in most situations that come up. They rarely don't seem to or just like fall on their face. Caninana anyway has some very good late game. DominionDog has been a bot that's been getting a lot of love, and it seems that holes in its play have been getting fixed as time goes on. And so yeah, I figure we should have a good match to see how these two are facing off against each other. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get too far into this one though, go ahead and click that like button. If we can hit 900 likes on this video, that would be amazing. Or 9, whatever it may be. And yeah, leave a comment down below saying more bots if you want to see more of these bot games. And yeah, that goes a long way. I do apologize if there's a second of silence here and there. I'm just still kind of getting over a cold. One of those lingering ones that makes commentating not great, but I don't think it's too bad. So anyway, we've got Lings chasing down an SCV, gonna kill off that scout. A drone and Lings working together. DominionDog then of course showing us all the checks that go on during its program, which I love the chat tags, by the way. Scout dead, scouting normal, Zerg air, early air. I don't know where the early air thing comes from, whether that's just a name maybe for DominionDog to be picking a strategy based on what it sees. So maybe DominionDog is planning to get out like an early Banshee or something like that. Anyway, the first Reaper for DominionDog goes on in, battles with the Queen, and then runs on out. Meanwhile, the Marina's trying to kill an Overlord. The Overlord going back and forth, trying to get onto that safe spot, but kind of flying around a little bit. Does seem to stay alive for now, though, as the Ling tries to make it into the main base, distracts the Marine. So the Marine turns around and kills that, then goes back for the Overlord. We'll see if it can get it or not. Meanwhile, the one Reaper still just going in and out. And this is one of the things I'll say that is really good about DominionDog. Like, there's already tweaks in the strategies that we've seen from some of the first games we've cast. Like, I mean, the first couple matches I cast of it, it was pretty much just like mass Reapers and Hellions. Now it's going into a fast starport, just going for a single Reaper that's scouting non-stop, and then going into a couple Hellions behind it. So really cool strategy from DominionDog. That Overlord does stay alive, which is nice for Caninana. Caninana is a bot that tends to macro a little bit slower than some of its counterparts. Slow and steady wins the race, even throwing up a Spinecrawler at the front, although it seems to have been blocked, and then Caninana changed its mind. But that just kind of means that it doesn't want to lose too much. When you're playing safe and making the investments into safe play, you don't want to lose anything, because you've already spent money on the security. You don't want to lose stuff to sort of compound on that. Now, we've got Hellions for DominionDog, potentially just going to be going for a run by and looking for some damage. There's double Cyclones on the way behind this. With a Banshee, the Hellions do just run on in. There is, however, Roaches already done for Caninana, so this is that early defense investment I was talking about. 2 Hellions do still make it into the main base. They're going to start trying to cut up some drones. The drones, look at that, they can just burrow, though, to stay alive. So I think only 1 drone died from that run by, which, as far as Zergs go, is considered a great success when it comes to defending against Terran Hellions. The Zerg can kind of just laugh at themselves and say, ah, stupid Terran, you just threw away 400 resources. But it's one of those things that sometimes works for Terran, sometimes doesn't. My latter experiences can confirm that. We do have One Banshee out, Cloak about to finish up. There's also a Raven out as well. Where is that first Banshee? Is it moving across the map? No, it's just hanging out at home for now. It's going to cross the map, though, and we've got a third command center on the way for DominionDog. So the blue Terran bot is macroing well behind this. Workers are fairly even on both sides. DominionDog is a Terran bot that macros extremely fast once it decides to do so. So we do already have a second command center, well, a fourth command center on the way. So getting up a fourth around the same time as the Zerg, that's very quick for the Terran. Banshee is causing some trouble, making the Queens behave like whack-a-moles, as there's some funny programming going on there. The Queen's like, oh, there's a Banshee we can't quite see, but then the Banshee goes in range of the Spore and pops back up, presumably. Now, we do have double armory on the way, Hyperflight Rotors coming out too, so we're probably going to be seeing more Banshees as this game goes on. This is a strategy that Caninana has done a couple times with varying degrees of success. I'm curious to see how well it'll work out against such a great late-game Zerg like Caninana, because Caninana is generally good at shutting down compositions like this, so we'll see if DominionDog can pull it off. Mass Banshees, of course, are very good against the Roaches in the early game. It'll force Caninana to get out Corruptors or Hydras. Meanwhile, that fourth base is about to finish up for DominionDog. Caninana scouts it, but there's already a fifth Terran base going up. This is that greed I was talking about from DominionDog. Cyclones are flying around, locking onto those Overseers. Gonna kill one of them off, potentially gonna get the second one. They don't quite have their speed upgrade yet, so that's a bit of an unfortunate loss for Caninana. Both bots are on a high worker count, but man, oh man, look at this. A sixth command center going up for DominionDog, pardon me. And these aren't just like Planetary Fortress. No, DominionDog turns its command centers into orbital commands. At some point it does anyway. It's just busy making SCVs for now. But my point on that is that 6 command centers dropping mules is an absurd amount, and there's the 7th. DominionDog just spent so much money on these greedy bases, whereas Caninana's like, yeah, I got a 4th, that's good for now. I'll get a 5th at some point. And it just goes to show the contrast with some of these bots. Now, whether Caninana can just stay on a lower economy, but then also just have a better composition, which is where it really thrives. Getting out these infestors will be very good against Banshees. DominionDog's army is, of course, smaller because of this massive economic investment. We do have triple orbitals going on up now, so some of these bases are finally morphing. That's going to be a lot of mule money coming in for DominionDog, so in a minute or two, it's going to have a lot of resources at its disposal. We've got more starports on the way. Now, whether those starports will be worth the investment, I can't say, because Caninana may just shut them down with infestors and spore crawlers. Mass spore crawlers are going down for the Zerg. I love to see that. A 5th base is now getting established for Caninana. However, Caninana really will have to minimize the damage it takes. We do have Banshees flying around with a Raven, cleaning up the creep. That's really nice. Auto turrets getting tossed on down. The Banshees are coming on in. There isn't that much anti-air for the Zerg just yet. Caninana relying on Queens. However, Cyclones catch a couple of them. The Banshees are still flying around doing their thing. And this game is getting chaotic as we've got like the 8th base, 9th base being attempted on location for DominionDog, being built where creep is being spread because it's incredibly far on Caninana's side of the map. We do have a Neural Parasite take over a Viking. Banshees are getting sent on home, but look at the supply already. DominionDog is actually ahead on army supply compared to its opponent, 44 to 53, and then you've got this crazy good economy behind it to back it up. That is a little bit concerning for Caninana if it's just even trades from here on out. Infestors are getting some good Neural Parasites off as the Cyclone gets taken over. Raven also gets taken on over, but DominionDog is now just starting to pump out Banshees 5x5. There's more starports on the way. 2-2 upgrades are being researched as well, so that's going to really benefit the Banshees. And in comes DominionDog, just using its sort of greedy swarm tactics. Banshee's going to kill a queen as that pops out. Infestors are still being produced en masse, so as that number goes up, the Banshees may just peter out. We'll see. There's no corruptors yet in the skies to help with this. Banshees are still flying around, and the Infestors seem to be a little scared to do anything about this, kind of rightfully so. The Banshees decide they can engage these spore crawlers, which is nuts. That's not something you see too often, Banshees killing spore crawlers. DominionDog is still trying to get up this very greedy expansion. The Terran bot still just has, oh, how many orbitals is that? 8 orbitals, so that is a lot of mule money being brought in. 4,000 resources a minute, so it's really exceeding what Caninana has. There hasn't been too much lost this game just yet. It's only 4,700 to 3,900 lost. We'll have to watch as that proceeds, as both these bots build into bigger and bigger armies. They've been trading out a little bit, but they're still both just generally massing up. DominionDog wants to get up another command center there. Surprise, surprise. Meanwhile, this base is now having creep spread on it. So DominionDog's desire to spread bases is coming in conflict with Caninana's desire to spread creep, as units are still just flying all over the map. Those Hyperflight Banshees are super quick. And look at this. Infestors are being produced even more for Caninana. It just says, nope, give me the Infestors. Banshees are one-shotting roaches in the skies. There's auto turrets being dropped down all over the place by the few Ravens that DominionDog has. We've got 3-3 upgrades on the way. Vikings being added into the mix to help deal with the Corruptors. And it's not just, this game isn't just about whether the Infestors can kill the Banshees. It's about how many resources Caninana loses to these roaches on the ground that are just really not doing anything. One Infestor gets picked off, a second one gets picked off. There is Vikings in the sky now to contend with the Corruptors. Banshees are flying all over the place. Caninana is still only on 5 bases. That is massively problematic for the Red Zerg, as it will eventually run out of steam. Notably, these gases are the important thing. Mineral banks, not its problem. Gas may be its problem later on. We'll see. Hellbats are being added into the mix. Random Marines being produced. DominionDog is just swarming its opponent right now. Mining is being denied at the 5th base. Even a Hellbat comes on in. So drones are burrowed. They're not mining. Drones are burrowed at the 5th. They're not mining. So Caninana's economy is really quite small, regardless of whether it gets good trades with these Infestors, which it's kind of not. I mean, 11 of them have perished, and only 10 Banshees have died, so the Infestor control isn't perfect, and I'm kind of wondering, because these Infestors have lots of energy, they could be tossing out more fungals, that kind of thing. I'm curious as to why that's not happening. We got a Viking that gets knurled and landed, but then there's actually nothing to finish it off. Meanwhile, more neural parasites are going down, grabbing Vikings of DominionDog in the skies. Those may get some good trades for the Red Zerg, but whether Caninana can maintain this, we'll have to see. We do see a Hydra dead on the way. That could be a game changer. Hydras, with their high ground-to-air range, can do very well against Banshees. And still more neural parasites getting tossed down. It's currently 14 Infestors, 14 dead in total. Vikings in the skies are doing lots of friendly fire, but look at this. DominionDog has been able to reach maxed out. It's killed the 5th base of Caninana. And yeah, there's been no harassment on the Terran side of the map, so DominionDog has just been a happy camper, mining, even repairing some of its Banshees, which is really cool to see. DominionDog now building a bank. Caninana struggling to maintain supply. No 5th base has been able, or no 6th base has been able to be established. We'll see if the Hydras can potentially be game changers, or if it's too late, as Groove Spines is being produced. There's Hydras on the ground now. Once they have Groove Spines for that extra range, they'll be doing much better against these Banshees, that's for sure. More neural parasites going on, allowing roaches to kill off Vikings, which is cool. Caninana managing to stay at 170 supply, more queens being produced, corruptors in the skies, but importantly Hydras on the ground too. Those Infestors, they're all pretty spent on energy, it looks like, so Caninana says, I'll solve that problem by making more Infestors. Notably, no fungal growth is being utilized on these Banshees, though, despite how clumped up they are. Banshees are now coming in, they're killing off the Spore Crawler. These Hydras are scared, neural parasites on the Vikings, so they start shooting the Banshees, but there's just not enough on the ground for the Zerg. Caninana's economy hasn't been able to sustain these trades. They haven't been the worst trades in the world, but For a bot that's on half the bases of its opponent, they're definitely not that good. And DominionDog is actually kind of just running away with this one. Killing that 5th base seemed to have been potentially the nail in the coffin. Caninana maybe went into Hydras a little bit too late. I think the Infestors not using Fungal is an interesting thing to note, because Fungal's just damage. Like, it could be sending those Banshees home, it could be catching them, but instead the Banshees, they're just flying around too fast. It's not that simple to program, though, of course. I know it's easy as a commentator for me to say, hey, just make the Infestors toss out Fungal Growth, but these units, they're reacting to, like, dozens of other units all over on the map. And so the unit movement is still pretty good, but it's just too much. DominionDog's Swarm style still showing us how strong it is. Like, Neural Parasites catching a couple of Ravens, that ain't gonna do it. The Infestors for Caninana just didn't have the efficiency. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this one, go ahead and click that like button. There's really not much Zerg left. The Hydras are scared of the Banshees, and rightfully so. If it was like a Hydra Fungal thing, that would have been good. But again, just DominionDog's growth is hard to contend with. If you have like an economy that's this good compared to your opponents, you can build pretty much anything. Take terrible trades and still potentially win the game. And then Banshees, they're just very quick. Seems to really mess with the unit movement of the Zerg. Caninana can't get that slow efficiency that it likes. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, click that like button if you enjoyed this one and you watched all the way to the end. Subscribe if you watched all the way to the end and you're not a subscriber. You can click that bell icon to get notified whenever I put up new videos. Leave a comment saying more bots if you want to see more mass Banshee shenanigans from DominionDog. There's 23 Banshees out right now. Go ahead and let me know in the comments, or just say more bots, as that helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you want to support this content, you can check out that join button or the link in the description. There's ways to go about that. And yeah, that is going to be that, as we just wait for the Hive to die. Doesn't take long with this many +3 Banshees. I do love how DominionDog is still mixing in like the odd couple Marines here. It's like, yeah, make a few Marines, why not? Even though they have no upgrades. GG.